and welcome back to Pirates Talk. I'm Ellie.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Victoria.
And today we have a very special guest, Javier Limon, ECU's student body president, and he's on the board of trustees. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Board of trustees is actually meeting this week, so
awesome.
Really timely, yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to come here today. I'm sure you have a very busy schedule like every other college student, and it might be even worse on you.
Yeah, I forget I'm a student sometimes,
yeah.
but I still gotta stay on track with that.
Awesome. Tell us a random fun fact about yourself.
Okay, I guess on the little bit more professional side, I am ECU's first Hispanic student body president, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
On the more fun side, I just got addicted to pickleball like 2 weeks ago, and I am constantly on the court, and the chancellor actually wants to play me in pickleball, so we're going to see how that goes. We're going to try to set that up, but I'm terrified. It was actually ranked for tennis, so
wow.
yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah,
but
good
I'm excited.
luck with that.
Yeah.
Like in the past month, I have been hearing about pickleball nonstop.
Non-stop.
Never heard about it
and
before.
I still have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
It's like if ping pong and tennis had a baby.
Okay.
It is right there, and I have a court right behind my apartment, so I just walk, and it's addicting.
Oh
so,
my gosh,
yeah.
I love that.
I have a really important question for you.
Of course, good.
Are you a Swiftie?
Of course, yeah.
Really?
Actually, yeah. I think what's my favorite song right now? It's between "Cruel Summer" and "Better Than Revenge." I don't know.
Wow,
It
those
goes
are
back
good
and forth.
things.
Yeah. So I have like very fluid music taste, and it'll just shift all the time. But yes, I am confirmed a Swiftie. So,
Oh my God,
yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Alright, so I guess we'll start off with just telling us a little bit about the role of student government.
Yeah. So student government's main form of what it does is advocacy, and its powers and its budget as well. So we use our voice to sort of advocate for concerns that students have, or if they have policies they want to change, we can make those recommendations to the university to change. One example is our Good Samaritan policy. Last year, if say you see a student is having an alcohol emergency, you can call for help, right? And neither of you will be punished. That didn't actually apply to drug-related emergencies. So we submitted legislation, we worked with student health, and got that policy updated to now reflect students experiencing substance-related emergencies as well.
Okay.
So that's kind of an example of how we can advocate for policy changes to sort of better improve the student experience. We also collect a student fee of every student on campus that's full-time. So we have a budget of about, I'd say, $500,000, somewhere around that ballpark, and we can give that money to student organizations. We can distribute it across the campus. So last budget, we had about $50,000 left over, and my vice president and I, we allocated that across different parts of campus. So we bought a new washer for the rec center because theirs was broken, and they weren't going to be able to wash their club sports material or things like that, and obviously that's a health concern.
Yeah.
So we upgraded their washer. We gave the ECU PD some money to upgrade the broken blue lights. Now it's just waiting for the supply chain to kick back up and give us the materials. And we bought like $5,000 drink spike testing kits, and we're going to equip those in student health services so students can pick up.
That's
and
amazing.
That is amazing.
So that's kind of like the two main ways that we can help students on campus, and that's what we're trying to really focus on is my vice president and I really focus on tangible results. What are things students can see, what can they feel, like what can really impact them, and that's really what we're aiming for this year.
That's really awesome. I feel like a lot of students really don't know the role of student government or what's going on with these policies. And we all work in substance abuse, the three of us. And so those the rule, the Samaritan rule, that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I was super happy we get that through. I just, of course, student safety always has to come first, and that has been a huge thing. Even before I became president, that's something I really focused on. So that usually comes through the form of legislation, so we can actually introduce bills like government would. So our resolutions are, hey, university, we recommend this. We have budget bills to, allocate our funding, and then we have, general motions that just changes our internal operations. But the main things we focus on are those resolutions that advocate for changes across the university. So yeah.
I think that's amazing.
It is. So can students, like any student that's not directly affiliated with SGA, come to these meetings?
Yeah, so we have meetings every Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and any student is welcome to come sit as a member of the public, and we actually have a portion dedicated during the meeting for members of the public to speak. So if they want 5 minutes to speak about an issue, they can. We've had that happen in the past before. Actually, students can also propose their own legislation too, and we can vote on that, which is really interesting. They can co-sponsor it or sponsor it. So that if they're interested in proposing something like that, that is also an opportunity. So we do give a lot of available options for students to come have their voice heard. Of course, they can always schedule meetings with me too. And then my executive cabinet meets Tuesdays at 5:15 p.m. and that also has a public section. So we try to be as available as possible to students when they need, and we try to invite people in to talk about certain issues when it's relevant.
Absolutely, that's a great opportunity for students to get their voice out, be heard, and know about what's going on their campus.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So if you could wake up one morning and change, or if you could wake up one morning and everything about ECU was perfect, what would that look like to you?
I just wake up normally like I already would.
Okay.
No, but seriously though, I would love to have a 100% graduation rate. The university is really focusing on switching to a 4-year graduation rate. So the Board of Governors previously we measured success through 5 years, and ECU is doing really good on that. Like our 5-year graduation is pretty solid, and we're improving. Our 4-year rate is still really good, but it kind of lacks in comparison to some other universities. So if I were to just wake up, I'd love to see that rate catch up and have our students graduate within 4 years. And then, of course, I really want student mental health to be, I want those depression, anxiety rates to decline. I know those have been on the rise, especially after COVID. I want to make sure that, we can take steps to address that, make sure students have the available resources on campus to address those issues. And ideally, that would be eradicated. And then finally, I would say that ECU just gets the recognition it deserves. I know a lot of times we get a reputation as a party school. And not to say we don't like to have fun here, but ECU is doing some really cool things, whether it's, research, leading and transforming the region. There's a lot of cool stuff happening here, and sometimes we get overlooked because of our previous reputation. And I think we're doing just as good stuff. Our students are just as smart as a Carolina or a state student is. And I want us to get that recognition for what we're doing here.
So just out of curiosity, realistically, how engaged are ECU students with student government?
So historically, not that much, but it's kind of comes off and off. Like we have off and off years where we'll have a lot of engagement, people coming in, and other years we won't have as much. And we're trying to make it a bit more consistent. This past year has been a really good year so far. Within this first month, people have been coming to the office, asking questions, sending me emails, setting up meetings with me. And just the foot traffic in the student center and to our SGA office has been so much more than the past few years that I've been here at SGA, and it's really cool to see that. And I think people are, starting to kind of come out of that shell post-COVID, which I'm really excited to see. So we're going to hope that engagement goes up higher. I think this might be a later question, but my vice president and I broke the record for the most votes ever in an SGA election. So we were the first to breach 2,000, which was really cool. Normally, SGA elections get 1,500 total votes, and in the first round, every ticket got a combined 4,000 votes. The second round, in a runoff, which we thought everyone was going to leave, it was right before spring break, we still hit about 3,000 something votes total, and then my vice president and I got 2,000. So we're seeing that engagement change. We doubled our assembly size in 2 weeks, so we're almost back to pre-COVID levels of a full assembly, which is really cool. And if we keep taking people in, we're pretty much set to hit a full assembly. That's really representative and reflective of the population as well here at ECU. So I'm super excited, at the direction that we're heading in, even after I'm gone, after my term.
Wow, that's such an accomplishment.
Yeah, we're trying really hard. I got credit to my attorney general. He'd be mad at me if I didn't give him credit for filling the assembly seats. He has done a really good job at holding those interviews and really putting a focus on making sure that, it's not just one demographic. It's, different backgrounds, different religions, different everything represented within our students' majors, which is also super important, that we're getting a good reflective sample of what ECU looks like in the SGA so that people can see themselves in the leadership also, but that decisions are being made on all the students' behalf. So I guess a quick example of that, last year I had a Muslim student approach me how the dining hall wasn't operating in the early morning hours, and so they weren't able to get food before their fast started, so they were having to extend their fast longer and having to go hungry. So we worked with dining to set up a to-go meal option so students can just come in, swipe their card, and grab a to-go meal and have a nice, good cooked food instead of having to have leftovers from the day before or eat, something that just isn't as nutritional. And so that's something I would have known about had a student that had that background not come up to me, and so that's why it's so important that we have the students in the assembly and coming to us as well. So that was a cool change that I like to see, and hopefully we can do it again this year.
Absolutely, that's great. Speaking of local government, we do have a municipal election coming up soon. What is ECU SGA's stance on student voting?
Definitely got to get out there and vote. So we're partnering with the Center for Leadership and Civic Engagement. We promote a lot of their events that they have to do. A new student advocacy group called SADI, I think it's Students for oh Lord, I'm gonna butcher the name, so I'm not even gonna try there. But they're a really active group. They helped set up that town hall of candidates this past weekend, which was super cool. And so we really, obviously we have to be nonpartisan, so we really just try to promote what these other groups are trying to put up in order to engage voting. And this past summer, we got approval to use Student One cards as voting ID, because now North Carolinians have to use voter IDs. And so, I spoke to the Chancellor's office and we got that pushed up for approval. And now students will be able to use their One cards as valid form of ID. So, and especially when we have a polling center in the student center, that's super helpful. It's right there. You whip out your card just like you would, going to the dining hall, and you're able to vote, which is awesome. So, I'm hoping to see. We had some pretty good turnout last during the midterm elections, and I know municipal elections, some people kind of like tune out for that, but it's super important still to come out for that as well. And we have these accessible options for students, so I really hope they take advantage of it.
Absolutely. I always vote on campus as well. It's super easy, in and out, less than 2 minutes.
Yeah. I have to drive to Winterville because I'm still registered right down there. So I am very jealous of the students can just roll out of bed and go vote. That is super. It's so easy, so just do it. It's right there.
Yes. So Pitt County is actually voting on a new Greenville City Council and Mayor. So District 3 City Council encompasses ECU main campus and the grid where all the housing is. So we have 2 candidates who are running against each other for that position. We wanted to share a little bit of information about the 2 so that you can go out there and vote and be educated on who you're voting for.
So first we have Marion Blackburn. She's currently on the city council, and this information was actually pulled from her Facebook. So she aims to support small businesses, encourage and nurture downtown businesses. She seeks economic development opportunities, continue advocating for parks, promote environmental stewardship, welcome cultural activities such as music, events, theater, visual arts, public art, and protect animals in our community as well.
Yeah, and our other candidate is Neil Driver. He is currently on the Pitt County Board of Commissioners, and we pulled this information from an article in the Daily Reflector. Neil Driver's focus is on students and college-aged to 35-year-olds in the district. He wants to bring businesses to Greenville, which help keep people in this age group here. He says there is a need for businesses that offer jobs that new graduates want. And he mentions the need for creativity in improving streets and providing activities for parents who want to pursue activities with their children. Also making sure that tax dollars are spent to provide the biggest return in investment.
So early voting starts October 19th until November 3rd on weekdays, and November 4th will be the only weekend to vote. And so you can vote early at the Pitt Area Transit System Conference Room on 1717 West 5th Street at the Pitt County Office Complex. Starting October 30th through November 3rd, you can vote on ECU campus at the Student Center, room 125.
Say, if any students are interested in joining student government, on the Pirate Experience, if you log in, we have a student government tab on the Pirate Experience, and you can go through our application process. Right now we're actually looking for elections commission members, so people to oversee our elections process in the spring. They'll be mainly working throughout the month of February. So throughout the month of February, they'll be working on overseeing the election. They get a little stipend. It'll be great. Hopefully no crazy rule violations this year, but they do pretty well, and they are an essential part of making sure that our elections run smoothly and that ensuring the next leaders are set for it. So if you're interested in student government or joining the Elections Commission, please check us out on the Pirate Experience.
Awesome. We'll definitely get the word out there for you.
Perfect.
We appreciate you so much coming here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming here.
Yeah, let me know if you need anything else. Always happy to help.
Absolutely.